When people think of Thailand's islands, they think of crowded beaches and long-tail boats. But there's another side, quieter, emptier, and rarely talked about. These are the islands most tourists never find, and once you see them, you'll understand why. The world is full of postcard destinations, places so thoroughly documented and shared. They promise paradise and deliver a version of it. But the real story often lies just beyond the frame, on the blurry edges of the map. It exists in places that haven't yet learned to perform for a camera. This is a journey to that other side. We're heading toward the small, unassuming dots of land in the Andaman Sea, far from ferry routes and all-inclusive resorts. No grand welcome, no concrete piers, no concierge. The only reception is the gentle pull of the tide against a fisherman's hull, the schedule set by the sun. Life continues here, indifferent to the frantic search for the perfect backdrop. The sand is clean because no one is paid to rake it. It's just sand. Nature is the lead character. A hermit crab crawls across wet shore. A sea eagle dives into the shallows. Leaves rustle in dense green that meets the water. No signs point to viewpoints or hidden lagoons. If you made it here, you can find your own way. The reward isn't a pre-packaged experience. It's the quiet, profound feeling of being a temporary guest in an ancient place. Why do we seek these places? Maybe for authenticity. We want something real, not something selling itself. We look for silence that lets you hear your own thoughts. A pilgrimage away from noise, traffic and crowds, and the noise of expectation. The tide will turn, the sun will set, another day will begin. It's simple, it's honest, increasingly rare. On the islands that tourism forgot, time doesn't tick. It flows. The rhythm of life is set not by a clock on the wall, but by the great silent engine of the ocean. The tide dictates everything. It determines when a boat can leave the shore and when it can safely return. It decides which parts of the reef are accessible for foraging and which are hidden beneath the waves. Local fishermen, their faces etched with the wisdom of 1,000 sunrises, don't check an app to plan their day. They look at the moon, they feel the wind, and they read the water. This deep, instinctual connection to the environment is the heartbeat of the island, a slow, steady pulse that a visitor can feel but rarely fully understand. The day begins before the sun, in the cool, gray light of dawn. This is when the sea is calmest, when the fish are most active near the surface. The soft putter of a single long-tail engine is the only sound that breaks the stillness as a boat heads out for the day's work. There is no rush, no frantic energy. There is only purpose. Later, as the sun climbs higher, the island settles into a quiet hum. People tend to their small gardens, mend their nets, or simply sit in the shade, watching the world move at its own unhurried pace. In a place without deadlines or meetings, the moments stretch and expand, filled not with tasks, but with being. The infrastructure, or lack thereof, reinforces this deliberate pace. The paths are not paved highways, but narrow dirt tracks, worn into the earth by generations of footsteps. They wind through thick jungle, forcing you to walk slowly, to watch where you step, to pay attention. There are no streetlights to chase away the darkness, so when night falls, it is absolute. The sky explodes with a density of stars that most city dwellers have never seen. The only light comes from the moon and the soft glow of a single bulb powered by a small generator, and the only sound is the symphony of the nocturnal forest and the ceaseless whisper of the waves. It's a profound lesson in living with less, and in doing so, experiencing more. Food here is not a commodity. It is a direct result of the day's effort. It's the fish caught that morning, grilled over a simple charcoal fire. It's the coconut plucked from a nearby tree, its water a perfect antidote to the afternoon heat. It's the handful of fiery chilies and fragrant herbs grown in a small patch of soil behind a wooden house. In an age where a single, perfectly framed photograph can launch 1,000 journeys, how do these islands remain whispers? How do they escape the all-seeing eye of the algorithm? The relentless churn of the content machine turns quiet corners into global phenomena. The first answer is simple logistics. These places are deliberately, beautifully inconvenient. Flight to a provincial town, a long drive to a dusty pier at the end of a forgotten road. A multi-hour boat trip on open water, subject to the whims of the weather. This is not a journey you book on a whim. It's a commitment. The second barrier is a lack of the amenities the modern traveler expects. No boutique hotels with infinity pools. No beach clubs serving artisanal cocktails. No wellness retreats offering sunrise yoga. There is, most critically, often no Wi-Fi. The absence of a reliable signal is a powerful, almost magical form of protection. Without the ability to instantly upload, filter, caption, and share, the experience remains personal. It forces you to be present rather than curating for an unseen audience. This digital silence is anathema to the influencer economy. Furthermore, these places don't advertise. They have nothing to sell like a tour operator does. Their value is not transactional. For the traveler who makes the journey, the discovery of a silent island is a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. It feels like a secret whispered only to you. Standing on a beach with no other footprints but your own. Swimming in a bay, fish darting through the coral. These are profound, almost spiritual experiences. You feel as though you have stepped off the edge of the known world and found something raw and real. It's a feeling of ownership, a deep, personal connection. This sunset, this stretch of sand, this quiet moment, it feels like it belongs to you. This initial reward is intoxicating. You learn the local names for the flora and fauna. You learn to read the subtle shifts in the weather. An afternoon with a fisherman dropping a handline, feeling the faint tug from below. These cannot be bought or scheduled. They emerge from the slow, quiet rhythm of the place. The reward is a recalibration of your own internal clock. Simply be, watch, listen. To understand what is at stake, you have to listen to the people who belong to these places whose lives are interwoven with the tides and the seasons. We sit on a woven mat with a fish seller, a woman in her 60s, whose hands tell the story of a life spent working with nets and knives. Her face is a landscape of calm resilience. She speaks in simple, direct sentences, her voice as soft as the evening breeze.
I like the quiet.
The sea gives us food. My neighbors, they buy my fish. The reef is our garden. She doesn't speak of tourism in grand economic terms, but with a quiet, personal fear.
Too many boats, the fish will go away.
For her, the health of the reef is not an environmental issue. It is a matter of survival, the foundation of her community's diet, the legacy she hopes to leave for her grandchildren. Her simple words carry the weight of generations, a quiet plea for balance and respect from a world that too often values profit over preservation. So they speak of these places in hushed tones, a quiet conspiracy of preservation. The greatest gift you can give is your silence. How, then, can these places be protected? How can the delicate balance be maintained in the face of our insatiable curiosity? The answer may lie in a conscious effort to travel with a lighter touch to minimize the weight of our own footprint. On some of these quieter islands, the community itself has begun to establish its own informal rules. They are not written on official signs or enforced by police, but are communicated through gentle suggestion and shared understanding. A fisherman might politely ask a visitor not to anchor their boat over the coral. A family might suggest a better place to camp, away from a sensitive turtle nesting site. These small, quiet acts of stewardship are the island's first line of defense. They are attempts to teach visitors the local etiquette to share the unwritten laws of the land and sea. Some communities have gone a step further, working with small, responsible tour operators to set clear limits. No large groups, no speedboats, no loud music. They ask visitors to pack out everything they pack in, leaving nothing behind but their footprints. Footprints that the next tide will wash away. A visit to one of these islands becomes, in itself, a lesson in conservation. It forces you to confront your own impact. When you have to carry your own water, see limited waste options, you become mindful of what you use and create. As our journey ends, the camera pans away from the silent shores, moves back toward the familiar chaos of mainstream Thailand. We find ourselves at a floating market, a riot of color, sound, and activity. Long-tail boats, pyramids of tropical fruit, sizzling skewers of meat, steaming bowls of noodles, tourists glide through, cameras in hand, faces excited, bewildered. Buy a coconut ice cream, snap a selfie with a vendor in a straw hat, move on, having done the floating market. It's a vibrant, photogenic spectacle. But for many, that's all it is, a spectacle. They see the surface but miss the substance. They treat the market like a theme park. To truly see it, you have to slow down. It asks one last thing of us: travel slow, see with care, and leave the world as quiet and beautiful as we found it.